Dark Souls stamina mechanic is action RPG perfection. Let me explain why. Think about it, in a lot of action RPG, the turn-based element of RPG is ditched. Like in Diablo or Kingdom Hearts, to remedy this, they have cooldown on your better move to give the sense of the classic turn-based battle to their gameplay, or magic point, whatever. You can't use your best move over and over, and need to choose when you use them, like you would when your turn came in an RPG. But the reason why Dark Souls is the best in my opinion, translation of turn-based in an action setting, the best action RPG in a conceptual sense, is because of the stamina gauge. And by Dark Souls, I really mean any of the soulsborne game. Like Elden Ring or Bloodborne, maybe not Sekiro. I haven't played Sekiro yet, so I won't include it for now. What is the point of the stamina bar? What does it do? Well, it makes it so that every action you make, from normal attack to running to even blocking and dodging, is tied to this gauge. So if you spend it all attacking like a noob, you won't be able to block with your shield or dodge enemy at all. Basically, it's something you need to keep in mind constantly while playing. And this is all fine and well, but isn't a stamina bar the same thing as waiting for your turn in a turn-based RPG? Isn't the stamina gauge just a glorified wait your turn gauge? As when you lose too much stamina, you cannot do anything but wait for it to recharge. Like wasting your turn in Final Fantasy X attacking instead of blocking, or using the wrong move. Like you can use the wrong attack for a specific situation in a Souls game. It's a gauge where when it's down, you lose your turn, and where you wait for your turn to recharge before going back in. It's the same thing as the old ATB gauge from the OG Final Fantasy VII, in which you needed to wait for it to fill up to do every basic action, from attacking to healing to even doing stuff like running away. Closer to it, you would have Final Fantasy XIII, in which the ATB gauge could be used up for multiple action at a time, some demanding more stamina, I mean ATB to do. So wouldn't it be that the best way to action RPG, the classic turn-based RPG or ATB RPG, is to tie all your move to a wait your turn gauge, stamina gauge? That a stamina gauge is the perfect translation in an action setting of a wait your turn gauge. That Dark Souls is by definition the closest you can get to a true action RPG. When most action RPG like Mass Effect 2 use the cooldown of your move as their translation to the RPG combat. And I love Mass Effect 2, and I prefer it to all the Dark Souls personally, so you know there is no bias there. But the cooldown mechanic in Mass Effect 2 is a one-way use, a one-trick pony, as having a cooldown just means you use your move when available and don't think about it. Even if Mass Effect 2 tried to add some depth to the mechanic, because it does the thing where when in cooldown all your special moves become locked, and the more powerful the move you use, the more cooldown you have. The problem with this is that you can still get by just fine with the basic moves that are not tied to the cooldown, like shooting and aiming, or getting behind cover, so you can basically play the game fine without any of those moves, meaning that you have no reason not to use your best attack as soon as the cooldown go away. Why not if the worst penalty is going back to playing a normal shooter? Even in the remake of Final Fantasy VII, when not healing, isn't it always better to just use your one or two best moves that you like using, depending on if you want to stagger the monster or hurt it? And use magic only when the monster has an elemental weakness to it. You don't think after a couple of hours, you just do what works. I love the remake of Final Fantasy VII, the OG2, but the action Final Fantasy VII would be way closer to Dark Souls on a conceptual level. A action RPG is to make a RPG where you play and fight in real time. The strategy in those games is the fact that for all your action you need to think, because wasting a turn is losing more health. Well, sometimes they can be brain dead, but the appeal is like in Persona, to find the best move to dispatch the enemy in the less turn possible. So like in Dark Souls, to fight knowing when to pull back and when to use stronger move. Yeah, I mean, you get the point by now. And I am not saying this makes Dark Souls perfect. It's not because it's the most accurate translation that it's the most fun one for you. The Souls game receive a lot of praise. Are they my favorite game of all time? Well, I love Bloodborne, but I prefer my Devil May Cry. But one thing is for sure, they are the closest you will get to playing your RPG in real time. Not the action RPG that has a bunch of special moves that you can use from time to time depending on if you have enough MP or the cooldown is down, but a game where you manage your turn or you die. So yeah, I hope it was entertaining. Don't forget to like and to subscribe if you liked the video and want more videos like those. Thanks for watching.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on.